I'll let you feel the tool of a real man, he said with a smug grin, unzipping his pants like he owned the world. My wife, Emily, on her knees before him, giggled and whispered, "Oh yes, it's enormous, way better than my husband's." I could barely watch, but I forced myself to. The video shook in my trembling hand as I paused it. I couldn't believe what I had just seen. My wife of 7 years, the woman I built a life with, was on camera degrading me while playing house with another man. She wasn't just cheating. She was enjoying every second of making me look like a fool. This wasn't some fuzzy suspicion. This wasn't me overthinking because she got home late or looked at her phone too much. This was proof, undeniable, brutal, crystal clear proof that the woman I loved had torn everything apart behind my back. And she was proud of it. I had found the video by accident. A misclick. That's all it took to unravel my entire life. Earlier that day, I had been on our shared laptop, looking for a receipt I needed for taxes. I clicked the wrong folder. Instead of Taxes 2024, I clicked on one labeled Work Trip, Miami. Thought it was her business travel folder. It wasn't. Inside were 3 videos. Just thumbnails at first. No names, just timestamps. I clicked the first one. What I saw will haunt me forever. My wife, in lingerie I'd never seen before, opening the door of a hotel room to a man named Brandon, a man I'd never met, but would never forget. She kissed him like he was the love of her life. That kiss was long, deep, messy, the kind she hadn't given me in years. And then the camera turned. She had set it up herself, on a tripod, like it was planned, like it was a trophy moment. She got on her knees. He unzipped. That was the moment I started shaking. The things they said, God, they weren't just sleeping together. They were mocking me. Cuck, loser, boring husband, all thrown around like confetti while she laughed. My name, Josh, became the punchline of a sick joke between 2 people who thought they were untouchable. I closed the laptop, but it was too late. I had seen everything. My chest was tight. My hands sweaty. My ears were ringing. I sat there in stunned silence, my mind trying to deny what my eyes had just confirmed. Emily, she wasn't just cheating. She had become someone else. I walked to the bathroom, splashed cold water on my face, and looked into the mirror. The man staring back at me wasn't angry yet. He was empty, hollow, numb. That wouldn't last long. I knew what I had to do, but I also knew this couldn't be a sloppy, emotional outburst. No yelling, no begging for answers, no drama she could twist into some victim card. This had to be methodical, calculated, quiet. She was going to pay for this, not with screams or fists, with consequences. And I was going to make sure that the same camera that recorded my humiliation would now capture her downfall. That evening, she came home as if nothing had happened. Emily walked in wearing the same tight beige dress she used to reserve for date nights with me. Her heels clicked across the tile floor while she talked on the phone, laughing. That carefree, innocent laugh I once fell for now sounded like fingernails on glass. She didn't notice my eyes, didn't see the storm in them. I had spent the last 2 hours replaying that disgusting video, pausing at every second where she called him baby or Bran, short for Brandon. I had memorized every word, every motion. I knew more about their affair than she realized. She blew me a kiss from across the kitchen. Hey Josh, long dead. Something like that, I said flatly, trying to keep my voice from cracking. My heart wanted to explode, but my brain, ice cold. I couldn't let her know. Not yet. Emily poured herself a glass of wine, leaned on the counter like some trophy wife out of a sitcom. Work was insane. Stephanie totally flaked on her part of the presentation, and I had to fix everything. Lie. There hadn't been a Stephanie in her office for over a year. I knew because I looked her company up, even checked LinkedIn. No Stephanie, no Miami trip, no work emergency last weekend. It had all been Brandon. I bet that hotel she filmed the video and had room service billed to my credit card. She sipped her wine. You okay? You look pale. Yeah, I wonder why. I forced a smile. Just tired. Been staring at screens all day. She said, narrowing her eyes at me for a second. She was always good at reading me. Manipulators usually are. But not this time. This time I was wearing a mask too. She walked over and draped her arms around my neck. I missed you. I froze. Her skin against mine now felt like fire. I wondered if those hands had touched him too. If the lips brushing my cheek had whispered to him hours ago. Was this her routine? Cheat, then come home and play perfect wife? I kissed her forehead, pulled away gently. I'm gonna shower. Okay, I'll heat up dinner. Dinner. As if any of this was normal. In the bathroom, I locked the door and turned on the water, letting the steam rise while I stared into the mirror again. My reflection looked different now. Not just tired, but dangerous. I wasn't broken. I wasn't crying. I wasn't going to grovel and ask her why she did it. I was going to gather more. I needed more footage. More lies. More rope for her to hang herself with. I knew her schedule. Mondays and Thursdays were late nights. Which meant Brandon. I'd track her. Follow her. Record her. Collect every drop of filth she thought she could hide. Let her dig the hole. I'd be the one to bury her in it. The next morning, I told her I had to leave early. Quarterly meeting with the client, I said. She smiled, kissed me goodbye, and said, good luck. I followed her car instead. She drove across town, not to the office, but to a residential complex I didn't recognize. Brandon's place, no doubt. I parked at a distance, snapped photos, and waited. 45 minutes later, she stepped out again. Same dress, but her hair now messy. Lips swollen. Makeup slightly smudged. She was glowing. I wasn't shocked anymore. I was ready. That night, I opened a new folder on my computer. Titled it, Her Grave. By the time Friday came around, I had what I needed to make her squirm. I had photos, timestamps, screenshots of her messages to Brandon pulled from our shared cloud backup. She was too arrogant to even realize it still synced. But I didn't just want revenge. I wanted to break her, mentally, emotionally, completely. I wanted her to feel the kind of helplessness I had felt watching her call another man daddy while mocking me behind my back. That day, I played the perfect husband. I even booked us a dinner reservation at her favorite rooftop steakhouse. To reconnect, I told her, "Oh, babe," she said, genuinely touched. "You're being so sweet lately." "No, Emily. I'm being strategic." At dinner, she wore that red dress, the one she used to wear when we first dated. For a second, it messed with my head. I almost saw the old Emily, the one who looked at me like I was her everything. But then I remembered the video. Her knees on the carpet, her lips on Brandon, her laughter as she moaned about how pathetic I was. She didn't deserve a single soft thought. We had drinks, made small talk, and I acted like nothing had changed. Like I hadn't seen her take off her wedding ring and slide into bed with another man. Like I hadn't watched her whisper, "He's such a loser," while getting undressed for Brandon. When dessert came, I leaned forward and asked, "So, when's your next business trip?" She blinked. Probably not for a while." "What?" I smirked. "Just wondering if Brandon will be going with you again." Her face dropped. Boom. There it was. That flicker of panic. A millisecond of pure shock she couldn't mask. But she recovered fast. Liars always do. "Babe, what are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone and slid it across the table. The screen lit up on a paused frame from the video. Her, moaning while Brandon laughed. She didn't touch it. Didn't breathe. "Go ahead," I said. "Play it. Maybe your memory needs help." Emily's mouth opened, but no words came out. She reached for the phone, hands shaking, and then just stopped. Her eyes filled with fake tears. "Josh, it's not what it looks like. Don't insult me." I snapped, my voice low and cold. "You filmed it, Emily. You set up the camera. This wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. A performance. And I was your audience." People at nearby tables turned to look. I didn't care. She tried to reach across the table. "Josh, please." I pulled back. "No. Save it. I've got everything. The videos. The texts. The photos. You want to know the best part? You didn't even bother hiding your login from our shared Google account." She was speechless. "You lied to me for months," I continued. Laughed behind my back. "You humiliated me. And now you're going to act like you're the victim?" Emily finally snapped. "You never made me feel desired. You were always working. You made everything boring." "There it is," I said, standing up. "The final card. Blame me. Blame stress. Blame boredom. But never take responsibility." I left her sitting there, alone, red-faced, tears smudging her mascara. When I got home, I started planning my next move. The divorce would be brutal, but I'd already spoken to a lawyer. I had everything documented. I was filing for full asset protection. And as for Brandon, let's just say I had a little meeting planned for him too. This wasn't just revenge. This was the beginning of her reckoning. I didn't plan on going after Brandon that night. But the thing about rage, it doesn't ask for permission. I found his gym schedule through one of Emily's old Instagram stories. She had once posted a stupid boomerang of their post-workout smoothies, not realizing the gym's name was reflected in the mirror behind them. From there, it took 5 minutes to check their online class bookings. He had a 7 p.m. kickboxing class on Fridays. I arrived early, waited in my car, watched as people came and went, sweaty, laughing, clueless. Then I saw him. Cocky, tall, smug as hell, like the world owed him a favor just for existing. Brandon. He strolled out wearing that fake alpha energy, wiping his face with a towel like he'd just won a fight. He didn't see me until I was in front of him. You, Brandon? I asked. He paused. Yeah. I punched him. No warning. No hesitation. Just a straight right hook to the jaw. He stumbled back, tripped over the curb, landed hard. People gasped. Phones came out. I didn't care. Josh, he coughed, shocked. You're crazy. No, I said, standing over him. You knew she was married. You looked into the camera and mocked me. He held up a hand like I was some kind of animal. Dude, it was just fun. No offense, man. No offense. I growled. You ruined my marriage. You turned her against me. You humiliated me on tape. And you're standing there saying it was fun. A staff member ran over, pulling me back. Sir, we're calling the police. I didn't resist. I just looked at Brandon, curled on the ground like the weak punk he was, blood dripping from his nose, fear finally on his face. You're going to regret every second of that video, I told him. I walked off before the cops arrived. Got in my car. Drove. My fists hurt. My heart didn't. The next day, Emily texted me. Emily, you hit Brandon? What the hell is wrong with you? I ignored it. Emily, you could go to jail for this. Me. Then I'll have more time to think about how deep you two really sunk. She didn't respond. Later, I received an email from her lawyer. Not a divorce lawyer, an injunction lawyer. She was trying to preemptively protect herself. That told me everything I needed to know. She was scared, but she hadn't seen scared yet. That Sunday, I invited her over to talk. Said I was willing to work things out. She showed up in a turtleneck and jeans, playing the calm, mature wife, pretending like we were just going through a rough patch. I had the camera already rolling. I needed her voice on record. You didn't just cheat, I said as she Saturday, you made sure I saw it. You wanted to break me. Her face twisted. I didn't plan for you to see it. Then why record it? She paused. The mask cracked. Because I wanted to remember what it felt like to be wanted, she snapped. You stopped seeing me. You stopped touching me. There it is, I said, calm. Justification. She stood, ready to storm out. I have all the evidence, I added. And I've already filed for divorce. The lawyer has everything. Your texts, videos, timestamps, even the hotel receipts. She turned pale. You can play innocent, I said. But in court, you're just a lying cheat. And just like that, Emily, the smug, arrogant queen of manipulation, finally lost control. I watched her leave, slamming the door behind her. And for the first time in months, I felt something real. Power. Monday morning, 8:17 a.m. sharp, my phone lit up with a message from my lawyer. She's trying to countersue for emotional distress. Claims you were emotionally abusive. I laughed out loud. Abusive? Me? The same woman who filmed herself cheating, called me a loser, and let some smug clown unzip his pants in front of her like it was comedy hour? Now she was the victim? I should have expected it. When narcissists get exposed, they don't take responsibility. They rewrite the story. They flip it. Suddenly, they're the ones who've been hurt, manipulated, abandoned. The audacity was unbelievable. But I was ready. I had already sent my lawyer a detailed timeline, complete with evidence, photos, screenshots, messages, and 3 videos that showed her not only cheating, but doing it with pride. That wasn't emotional distress. That was performance art. Then came the worst part. That afternoon, I got a call from my little sister, Megan. Her voice was shaking. Josh, Emily's posting things. What things? She's making you look like the bad guy. Like dangerous. I logged into Instagram from a burner account and saw it all. A black and white selfie of her fake crying. The caption? You never really know someone until you try to leave them. Gaslighting. Control. Emotional scars don't bleed, but they kill you slowly. Please, if you're in a toxic relationship, run. I scrolled down. Comments flooded in. You're so brave, girl. He didn't deserve you. Sending you strength. You'll rise. I wanted to smash the screen. But instead, I smiled. Because now she was playing in my arena, online image. And I knew how to destroy that better than she ever could. I called my buddy Mason, a digital PR consultant. The guy was ruthless. She's painting you as the villain, he said. But she forgot the golden rule. Don't start a fire when you're sitting in a room full of gasoline. He helped me craft a post. Nothing vulgar. Nothing angry. Just a simple message, posted from my private account. Infidelity isn't just physical. It's when someone looks you in the eye, says they love you, and then goes to bed with someone else, and makes sure you find out. I'll let the facts speak for themselves. But I'll say this, I don't need to destroy anyone. The truth is already doing that. I attached one image. A still frame from the video, not graphic. Just enough. Her on the bed, shirt half off, Brandon in the background, laughing. No context needed. It spread like wildfire. Her friends started messaging me, shocked. Some apologized. Others stayed quiet. But the most satisfying moment? She deleted her post within 2 hours. Then came the call. Emily, how dare you post that? You're ruining my life. Me? Good. Now you know how it feels. She started crying again. A performance, of course. She'd spent years perfecting the act. Josh, can't we just fix this? Fix it, I said. Emily, you're not sorry for cheating. You're sorry you lost control. She went quiet. You don't want forgiveness. You want power back. And you'll do anything to get it. Lie. Twist the truth. Play the victim. You don't understand. No, I cut in. You don't understand. I'm not the guy who used to sit quietly while you stepped all over me. Then I hung up. No more games. She fired her lawyer 2 days later. Probably because he told her she didn't stand a chance. Meanwhile, mine filed the final papers. It was almost over. But there was one last thing I had to do. Something that would leave her shattered in a way no post, no court document ever could. I sent her the invitation on a Wednesday afternoon. A simple text. Let's have one final dinner. One honest night. No lies. No shouting. Just closure. She took the bait instantly. Emily, you're finally being mature. Thank you. I'd like that. Of course she would. She probably thought it was her chance to twist the knife one last time. Maybe she imagined I'd crumble at the table, beg her to come back, confess I drove her to cheat. She always liked control and thought she still had it. But this wasn't about dinner. This was about ending her performance with a finale so brutal, it would haunt her every time she lit a candle or tasted wine. I booked the same restaurant where we'd celebrated our 5th anniversary. Romantic, dim lighting, rooftop view, the place where I once looked at her like she was my forever. Now, it was going to be the place where I shattered her illusion for good. I arrived early, set everything up. I handed the maitre d' a small black box with a flash drive inside. When dessert arrives, I said, play the video on that screen. Quietly, just for our table. He gave me a weird look, but he agreed. Money helps. Emily arrived 10 minutes late, floating in like a soap opera actress in a designer dress. Her hair curled just right. Makeup flawless. Smile rehearsed. Josh, she purred, like nothing had happened. You look grounded. You look the same, I replied. Fake. She blinked. Still angry, I see. No, just ready to move on. We ordered wine. She talked. Mostly about herself. How difficult life had been lately. How misunderstood she felt. How friends had turned on her. I nodded, listening like a priest at confession. When dinner came, she reached across the table, lightly touching my hand. We were great once, weren't we? We were, I said. Until you spit on it. She pulled her hand back, eyes flaring. I made mistakes, okay? But people change. Grow. You didn't grow, I said calmly. You got bored. You got careless. And then you got caught. The waiter brought dessert. And then, like a dagger, the screen at our table flickered to life. At first, it was just black. Then came the first frame. Her. On the hotel bed. Smiling. Her voice. Is it rolling? Then Brandon's laugh. Then her words. Let's make this loser cry. She gasped. People turned to glance. The audio wasn't loud, but it was enough for her to hear it. Word for word. Turn that off. She hissed, panicking. Josh, what are you doing? I sipped my wine. Just showing you what closure looks like. You can't just. This is harassment. Funny. That's not what you called it when you filmed it. Tears welled in her eyes, but there was no sadness. Just fury. Embarrassment. Fear. The mask had cracked wide open. She stood, grabbing her purse. I'm done. Wait, I said. Don't forget this. I slid a manila envelope across the table. Inside were divorce documents, already signed by me. Attached were copies of everything I had compiled, proof she'd never get a dime more than she deserved. I'm not just ending this marriage, I told her. I'm erasing you from my life. She didn't say a word. She just walked away, heels clicking like gunshots on tile. As she disappeared down the stairs, I felt nothing. Not rage, not regret, just silence. And in that silence, I finally found peace. The next morning, I stood in the living room, the same space where we once danced barefoot to old playlists, where we built IKEA furniture and argued over paint colors. It was quiet now, too quiet. The kind of silence that settles in after a war has ended and the battlefield is nothing but wreckage. Emily was gone. She hadn't come home after the dinner. Not that I expected her to. I saw the panic in her eyes when that video started playing. The shame. The realization that her little private fantasy had turned into a public execution. She wasn't ready for that. People like her never are. She sent me one last message that night. Emily, you're evil. You embarrassed me. Ruined my reputation. You'll regret this. No apology. No ownership. Just blame. I didn't respond. Instead, I walked into our closet and started pulling her clothes from the racks. I didn't throw them or burn them. I was done being dramatic. I just packed them into boxes, labeled them, and left them by the front door. Her perfume still lingered in the fabric, a ghost of a life that no longer existed. That same afternoon, I got a call from her mother. Josh, she said softly, I don't know what happened, but Emily's a mess. She said you humiliated her. I didn't answer right away. Then I said, she humiliated herself. There was a long silence. I always thought you were too good for her, she whispered finally. I just never said it. That hit harder than I expected. By evening, I went through old photo albums. The early days. Vacations. Beach trips. Holidays. Moments frozen in time that meant something back then. Now, they felt like stage scenes in a play I didn't know I was acting in. I saw a photo of us in Venice, arms around each other, grinning wide. And I realized, her smile in that picture was the same one she wore in that hotel video. That's when it hit me. She was never mine. Not really. She was hers, her desires, her thrill-seeking, her selfish hunger for attention. I was just a prop. The nice guy placeholder while she hunted something more exciting. I wasn't devastated anymore. I was done mourning. It was time to build something new. So I moved fast. I changed the locks, transferred utilities, had my lawyer freeze joint accounts, listed the car under my name. She never paid a cent for it anyway. By the time she came back on Thursday to talk, she found the front door wouldn't open. She banged on it like a cop. Josh, open the damn door. I stood behind it, calm, in control. You don't live here anymore, I said through the wood. This is my home too. Not legally. Not anymore. You can pick up your things tomorrow. I'll leave them outside. You step one foot inside. I'll have a restraining order on your desk before sunset. You're insane, she spat. No, I said. I'm free. She screamed something incoherent and stormed off. I didn't follow. Didn't watch. Instead, I poured a drink, walked out to the patio, and watched the sunset alone. For the first time in a long time, the air didn't feel heavy. My chest wasn't tight. My mind wasn't spinning. It was over. Almost. Because there was still one thing left to do. And I knew exactly how to finish it. I didn't need to ruin her life. She was doing a perfectly good job of that on her own. The following week, the divorce finalized. Clean, fast, brutal. The court sided with me on everything. Thanks to the mountain of evidence I'd collected, video proof, digital records, timeline of infidelity, I walked away with the house, the car, and full financial control. Her lawyer didn't even fight it. They knew she'd torched her own case. Emily tried to fake remorse in front of the judge, but crocodile tears don't move courts. Especially not when paired with footage of her on her knees, laughing about how she wanted to make her husband cry. She left the courtroom with sunglasses on, hiding from the world she used to flaunt herself in. The queen of appearances, stripped of her crown. I stood outside, watching her vanish into the crowd. And that's when I realized I wasn't angry anymore. I was indifferent. And indifference is what really kills people like her. She tried texting me later that night. Emily, I know I made mistakes. I miss us. Emily, can we talk just once more? I didn't respond. I took a deep breath and blocked her number. Then I went further, cleared our photos from my phone, deleted old messages, trashed the folder labeled her grave. I didn't need it anymore. Revenge had already done its job. I was focused on something else now. The gym became therapy. I picked up boxing again, ran every morning, ate clean, cleaned the damn garage I'd been putting off for 3 years. I filled the silence with music, with books, with freedom. And for the first time in forever, I wasn't walking on eggshells in my own home. Friends who had ghosted me during the drama reached out, shocked at how things had played out. Some admitted Emily had always seemed off. Others confessed she tried turning them against me. I just smiled and moved on. I had no interest in dragging her name through the mud. She had already buried herself. One day, months later, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside, a handwritten letter. Her handwriting. Josh, there's not a day that passes where I don't think about what I did. I ruined the only real thing I ever had. I was stupid, reckless, selfish. You didn't deserve it. I'm not asking for you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know that I finally see it. All of it. And it hurts. I hope you're happy. Truly. Emily. I stared at the letter for a moment. Then I folded it neatly, lit a match, and watched it burn in the sink. Because forgiveness isn't about giving someone else peace. It's about reclaiming your own. I'm not saying I walked away from this story without scars. I didn't. But I did walk away with something more powerful, clarity. I saw who she really was. I saw what I had become trying to keep a sinking ship afloat. And I saw what it looks like to finally let go. So, if you're out there, reading this, wondering if staying quiet makes you strong, if letting someone lie to your face day after day is love, let me be clear. It's not. Love doesn't humiliate you. It doesn't film your pain for fun. It doesn't leave you questioning your worth in the dead of night. And if someone does, walk away. Burn the bridge. Build something better. Because surviving betrayal isn't the end. It's the beginning.